Great.
Okay, so welcome to session 1D, which is all about disagreeing agreeably with others. So finding a way to utilize a process to help us disagree with others when we're in impromptu situations, when we have to think on our feet, and then also communicating our ideas effectively. So not bashing heads with one another, not yelling, not screaming, but finding a way to find some common ground in order to disagree agreeably, and then strengthening our own opinions using evidence. How many of us have been in meetings or different types of groups where everyone starts yelling out their ideas and nobody's listening? How many have been in those types of environments, those situations? What goes through your mind when that happens? Yeah, so our minds kind of shut down a little bit, maybe kind of shy away. So when we are responding to impromptu situations, situations that we have to kind of think on our feet when others are disagreeing with us, there's some things that we have to keep in mind first. So for example, we have to think in our minds before we speak, what do I believe? What do I think? And then why do I think that? And then finally in our head, what kind of evidence do I have to back up my thought process in this? And then before we even speak at all, we have to think about these three things. But when we do speak, after we've kind of evolved that in our minds, then that's when we can say to the person, this is my thought process. This is the evidence that shows me that. So it could be, some type of fact or statistic, which we'll get into in a minute. So therefore I believe this. Okay. Now, when I say the word cushion, what kind of words come to your head? So like a pillow, like something soft, kind of softens the blow, right? So this is what a cushion is, and this is what we'll be using before we speak as well. So when we think about cushions, a big misconception, and a lot of what we do when we're disagreeing with somebody is we always say the word but. So how many of us always say but, or we always hear it? So what does that really mean when somebody's telling you something and then they say but this? Yeah, so it kind of, everything that they said before that doesn't matter anymore, right? Or they weren't even listening to you. So this is a big buzzword for us today, so we're going to cut out the word but. We're also going to cut out however and nevertheless. Instead, we're going to replace it with a couple different sayings, such as, I hear you saying, or I understand, or I appreciate what you're saying. So what would be the benefit of using a cushion in this process? Yeah, absolutely. So a cushion is definitely not, agreeing with the person, but simply just letting them know that you're hearing what you're saying, what they're saying to you. So then after we use the cushion and we state our opinion, we have to back it up with some type of evidence. What is the most important thing that comes along with evidence in disagreeing agreeably, right? So why should we have evidence, right? Absolutely. So we need to have some type of evidence to show why we think the way we do. So it's not just us, giving our personal opinion. We have some type of fact or statistic to back it up and validate it. There's several different forms of evidence, and we use an acronym called DEFEATS. So evidence defeats doubt. So there's different types of evidence that we could use, such as demonstrations. Now, what's some examples of demonstrations? About examples, facts, exhibits. So go all down the line, and I would get some examples from each. So our final thought process for disagreeing agreeably, thinking about what we think, why we think it, and then we're going to use that cushion. So I appreciate what you're saying, or I understand that. And then you say, my example is this. Here's the evidence that shows that to back it up. Therefore, I believe this. So that's going to be the thought process behind disagreeing agreeably. So in a moment, we're going to put this into practice. We're all in our groups of 3. So in our groups of 3, each person will have a role. So for example, person A will be the opinion giver. Person B will be the person disagreeing agreeably. And then person C will be the coach. So this person will simply just be watching person A and person B and giving any type of feedback that they could give, such as, making sure open communication, making sure that we're not saying buzzwords like but or however. So being kind of the coach behind that situation. The opinion giver will have 15 seconds to state his or her opinion on something. And then person B will have to use the disagreeing agreeably process. So thinking, using a cushion, using evidence, and then opinion. So with the evidence, we have it over here on the board just to give you a cheat sheet of different types of examples, and we can make something up. It doesn't have to be something that's true. We just want to make sure that we're getting the process through. So we will have 15 seconds for the opinion giver, and then disagree agreeably will have 1 minute to disagree agreeably with that person. And then after person B is finished, person C will go ahead and coach. After everyone is finished, we'll reverse roles. So person A will then be person B, and person B will be person C, and so forth. So everyone will have a chance to be in each role. So any questions about what we're doing? Okay, fantastic. So your first topic is this. Who is person A? Raise your hand. All right, person A, please begin. And then what we'll do is we'll go through that whole disagree agreeably process again. And that's it.